Benders Nation, let's ride.
You are now tuned in to the Windy City Benders podcast. This is WCBP.
Ooh, nope, not again. All right, it's another edition of the WCB podcast. This week is truly episode 197. I don't know why I thought last episode was 197. Last episode was 196. I guess I just really want to get to episode 200, and fingers crossed for good reason. We will reveal that when we get closer to it. But
after this episode, we're no longer doing odd numbered episodes.
yes, even episode numbers only. It's Jarom, it's Tanner. What's up, bud?
Not much, man. Just enjoying some Hawks hockey. Just exactly how we thought it would be this year.
Anybody who didn't say that this is how the season's gonna go, you're idiots. What are you doing? Believe in this team. Believe in Kyle Davidson. Believe in Luke Richardson. Believe in Lafferty.
What are they even putting out on the ice this year? Like, how is Patrick Kane going to play for this team? How is Jonathan Toews going to play for this team? Well, I'll tell you what, they're going to play really fucking good. So,
who was going to score the goals? I'll tell you. People you didn't think so. People who weren't even on this team when we did our preview of this team.
Literally, fucking everyone on this team is going to score goals because besides the fourth line, the goals are spread out on the top three lines right now. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, pulling up the stats really quick. Why is it going to last year's stats? All right. Okay, Tyler Johnson. Tyler Johnson leads the team with 6 points.
Just like everybody thought would happen. Tyler Johnson's leading the team, followed closely by who other than Sam Lafferty. That's right, and Jason Dickinson. Exactly, like those guys.
You mean the Laffy Dick line?
The Laffy Dick line, baby.
With both have 2 goals, both have 3 assists, both have 5 points. And the also addition to that line, which I think is sneaky one of the best lines of this team, Kurashev. Oh my God, Kurashev's goal last night too against
Florida.
Holy shit, the patience. And it was funny. They were saying like, oh, they're just had an insult to injury because Forsling took a shot and he couldn't really move. And they're just like, Kurashev going out there dangling around the pylon like the cone. I'm like, oh my God, you're doing Forsling dirty. But we are getting really ahead of ourselves here.
We are because let's rewind a bit. Let's go back.
You want to do game? You want to do games? Do you want to do some throughout, or do you want? What do you want to start with?
Let's just chat about the games real quick.
All right, let's go. So when we were last episode got posted, we had the home opener against the rival Detroit Red Wings, who we even kind of questioned, are they really our rivals still?
Yeah. Like, is it? Will we still call it that? I think this game kind of answered a few questions for me too.
So, from the fan perspective, my brother was at this game. He went there and he told me that based on just the fan experience in the arena with the amount of Detroit fans there and the Blackhawk fans going back at it with chants, he said, Zach, you are a fucking idiot if you think this rivalry is dead.
It's very much alive.
Word for word what he said. He said that he's counted 5 fights between Red Wings and Hawks fans. Instantly you had the let's go Hawks, Detroit sucks.
You know why it is? Because the tickets are cheaper now. We get the fucking rowdy people back in the stands. And that's why there's fights.
Anybody who can find $20 can get into the game now. And
that's right.
But yeah, so this was a different experience. It kind of felt more like 90s Blackhawks where Detroit is on the up, Chicago's on the down, allegedly. So I was anticipating this was going to be a kind of a bloodbath. I mean, the Hawks were coming off of 6 days rest. They did last played on the Saturday against San Jose. And it's already been so long I forgot. Oh, it did not start good for the Hawks. Was this the one where it was like the first 10 minutes that was San Jose.
It was similar. The Hawks didn't
starts.
It wasn't. I'm trying to remember because there was so much going on in each game. The games have been so exciting to watch. It's kind of like running together for me a bit.
Right.
But as far as I remember, it was a little bit more back and forth during this game. it was Seattle, where Seattle was coming out much
Yeah.
harder in the first.
Right.
But this is Peter Mrazek starts this game, and like I mentioned last week, he only gets beat on tip-ins. There was literally only one legitimate shot that he let in, and a majority of the goals were either tip-ins or on the power play as well, which are also tip-in goals. And this game started the exact same, where he played fantastic, and Hugh Suter ends up getting a goal, former
Of
Hawk.
course.
Of course.
Blackhawk revenge game.
And doesn't even, I mean, it doesn't, it wasn't even a try to be a tip in. It was just a save that he tried to put in the corner that goes off his skate and in.
He was crossing the crease and the puck happened to hit his skate and go in.
Yeah. That's just the kind of luck that you get. I mean, it's either his skate or it's gonna be Seth Jones' skate. Either one, it's gonna go in. That's the problem. I don't even think Seth Jones was on the ice for that one. I have no idea, but I know that's just who it goes off of.
Ricochet shot
if
there.
It's us. What is it? The second goal was an actual shot that beat him, but I mean,
was a fucking snipe on the power play.
Yeah, they gave him all day right in front of the net, though. Too.
Also, think he was screened though.
He was heavily screened. He was heavily screened.
Not to make an excuse, like you should still find a way to to make the save, but it was just the perfect screen, the perfect shot. The lone power play goal that the Hawks let up that game. They ended up going 1 for 5 on the, or 4 for 5 on the power play or penalty kill.
On the penalty kill.
Yeah.
After being a little bit more disciplined in the San Jose game, you saw them start to take a few more penalties this game too. I didn't catch it because I forget what I was in the middle of doing. I was like in my kitchen, and then all of a sudden I look up and the Hawks had scored, and I was like, oh, what happened? And it's like, oh, Athanasiou had a fucking penalty shot, and I was like, what?
Oh my God. So what's so funny was I was texting another group chat, and I literally was like, I am so done with him. Like, yeah, he's fast and all, but he can't do shit. He can't control the puck. He outskates the puck when he's moving out there. And literally within 5 seconds that I sent that text, he gets dragged down, awarded the penalty shot, and then scores. I'm like, okay, of course. So I just gotta neg him, I guess.
You gotta neg him. He's the Luis Mendoza of this hockey team. all speed, and that's it.
And the funny thing is, he went in so slow on that penalty shot.
Well, I mean, just because he has speed doesn't mean he has control.
No, I know. It's just so funny. It's like every time you see him, it's like it's 0 to 100 like that, and then he finally gets like this one opportunity, just coasting on in, doing the big turns into the zone. And I think it was just a clean shot too, right? It wasn't like anything fancy.
So what it was kind of like a fake to a move. And like he went to like stick handle, like he was going to start making a deke, and then just ripped it 5-hole. Like there was no pullback or anything. And it was just what Nedeljkovic was in that, I believe. Yeah. Just caught him just on his heels. He didn't even move. It ramped up his stick and right through his legs. And it was a beautiful goal. It looked stupidly easy because he froze him so hard.
Less than 6 minutes after that, the former Hawk revenge tour continued.
Yeah, which always happens. That's exactly. It happened last year with David Kampf scoring 2 goals in the UC for Toronto, which makes no sense because he scored 2 goals all of the entire season before. Yeah, but 2 against us. And I had texted you guys. I was just like, I'm waiting for Kubalik to score. And then, of course, he gets another tip-in, by the way. It's just tip-ins. That's all it is.
Shot
it's
from Mata. So a former Hawk to a former Hawk.
Exactly.
Former Hawks had something to do with all 3 goals, too, for the Red Wings. He scored the first one. Kubalik assisted the second one. And then, obviously, the goal and assist on the third one. So, of course, fucking Detroit Red Wing, former Blackhawk revenge tour. It's like if you were betting next time, like these teams play each other, and I think it's March.
Well, I'm
put money on
right
one
now.
of those guys scoring.
Dylan Strome, put money on him to score. Probably have Gustafson get a point. Wyatt Kalynuk plays for Vancouver for some reason. Like expect him to get at least an assist. Get Colin Delia a shutout or some shit. It's how it happens. Yeah, man, fucking Mrazek played solid, but this is the game that he went down,
so
right? Between the second and third.
He hurt his groin. Didn't come out for the third period, and so I fell asleep into the second period, and I woke up to overtime, like at overtime. So basically, the Hawks tied up Kurashev with a nice goal. Connor Murphy shorthanded because that's what the Hawks do now.
Yeah, apparently
Shorthanded goals.
our penalty kill is more dangerous than our 5-on-5. Also, the Kurashev goal is another thing where Lafferty is just banging. Like it was Jack Johnson with a fired one from like just inside the blue line, just at like the top of the circle, and Lafferty's just everywhere all the time. He's literally, what is it? Discover everywhere you want to be. I don't know, but he's fighting for it in front of the net. Gets the rebound, goes off in Nedeljkovic, and then it goes right onto Kurashev's stick, and he just buries it. Murphy had just a beautiful wrister right off the face-off, ties it up, and like you said, it's another shorty. I don't know what it is with the Hawks and shorthanded goals, but I'm cool with it.
Sure, and that will continue.
We
up
could
here.
not score a power play goal with a defenseman last year, but we can score a shorthanded goal with a defenseman this year. Does it make sense? No. Does anything make sense?
Nothing makes sense here.
No.
So I woke up at the start of overtime and I was very confused when I saw Stalock in net. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And they're like, yeah, he's been very solid so far. Stop anything. It was like 9 shots or something like that. And I literally
he had 10 shots the whole game, 10 saves.
And so then I literally look at the TV, and by the time I realized what was going on, Max Domi forces a turnover in center ice, takes it into the zone and fires it away for the game-winning goal, which I think his best game of the year, easily.
Not only I would say one of the things that he fucked up on was early on in the game there was a power play and he took a stupid penalty. But he definitely made up for it with that. And the funny thing is they kept mentioning too was the fact that he looked off Kane on the 2-on-1. It's like, yeah, if you're looking Kane off, you better fucking pop that one, score. Baby. But one of my favorite things is like, I'm starting to realize that like when Alex Stalock gets a net, that net's basically on quarantine because that shit's on stay lockdown. Yeah, there you go. I was really waiting for that one. I was so excited. Well, yeah,
besides Max, that stupid penalty he took when the Hawks were on the power play, they were going on a power play. Either way, it was like besides that, he had a great game. I think this was his best game of the season, and I love the feistiness that he brings out there, and like he's able to do it all out there. He's able to score. He's playing very well with Kane.
Yeah,
setting Kane up and all that. And he's not afraid to get dirty, standing up for his team, teammates.
The way that line works is so bizarre to me because it's like you have this speed with Athanasia where I think was it on how he got the penalty shot was Kane sauced it. He was just like, you're going. And he just basically like a quarterback and is just like fucking firing.
I can't remember if it was Kane, but there was somebody. Kane, it was like a pass that just split the defense.
Yeah, he was like, my guy's gonna outspeed you. I'm just gonna put it into space, and then 100%. That's what they kind of just do whenever they don't know where to go. It's like, oh, just go, man. We'll just throw it. You're gonna beat him. Like that's fine. And then Domi's the one that's just gonna be in front of that fucking bashing guys up and just trying to pass back and forth with Kaner, and Kaner's just gonna do Kaner shit,
Yeah, it's funny to
talk about him
looking off Kane in overtime. I think that's the first time this season that he didn't try to force the pass over to Kane. I feel like up until that point,
smart.
Right? Yeah, it's just so funny. The only thing I don't like about that line is I feel like they're a defensive liability. They're not defensively at all, but they're not expected to be, and that's fine.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, man, what a wild series of events. I feel like every game has been because that win, this next win against Seattle, and then the win against San Jose are all come from behind, like 2 goals down, and somehow we're just like, oh yeah, who fucking cares? This is actually how we like it.
Some quick stats from this game. Hawks with a 62% face-off percentage. They were 0 for 3 on the power play, but like I said, they were 4 for 5 on the penalty kill. 14 penalty minutes.
Yeah, one of those power plays got ruined, by the way, like we mentioned before too.
Yeah, by Domi. Here's another thing too. It's been the trend so far this season. 27 hits to Detroit's 13. They are out hitting their opponents.
Yeah.
And it's proven to be the difference maker, I think. I think that's a huge part of why this team is able to do what they're doing.
one of the things I think Troy Murray said in the game yesterday was that they're out hitting guys, and so that's why you kind of see them get a little separation in the later periods because these guys are kind of like getting a, a little bit more tired from that. Like if you're getting fucking tossed every time you get the puck and like release it to somebody else, like man, you're gonna start dogging it, and the Hawks are just taking advantage of that too. Like they're a hard fucking team to play against, and it's
Yeah.
great.
The one stat that here it's kind of mind blowing when you're looking at it too is giveaways. Detroit had 3 giveaways all game. The Blackhawks 22. So they a little sloppy with the puck that game.
Whatever, man. Miss
A
100%
win's
shot.
a
Oh,
win's a
100%
win's
of
a
the
win.
giveaways that you never take.
Yeah, a win's a win's a win's a win. So
Yeah, exactly.
the 2-game win streak going right there. Getting all excited because you know what? Hey, didn't expect this team to win back-to-back games all year. So hey, there it is.
Didn't
This
expect this team
season,
to win many games all year, let
exactly.
alone back to back.
So Nets, you had the Seattle Kraken come to town, and before the game, Coach Richardson was kind of talking about how this team, Kraken, is kind of built the same way the Hawks are. They, are gonna make you work. They're gonna not give up many easy opportunities. So it was going to be an interesting game. And this is one of those games too, where you're like, okay, is this one that we need to lose because of draft standings and all that kind of stuff? But it, I think, might have been the worst from highlights I've seen. You said you watched it actually. So
Yeah,
I'll kind of
I
let you
just
take
didn't
over.
really get to catch like the third period too much because I had stuff I had to do. But the Kraken were kind of all over the Hawks at the beginning of the game. Like they had so many fucking chances. I swear to God, Jordan Eberle had maybe like 5 chances at least, and I think he hit the net like one time.
He had 3 shots
Um,
on goal.
yeah, no, he missed the net a lot, but
Yeah.
he was getting chances after chances in the first period, and then Stalock played great still. His over aggressive like play does kind of hurt him a bit, and it happened in the first goal. It not really as much on the first goal because it kind of was like a broken up play where it was like a on man rush coming down, and they ended up taking it wide on accident, and the guy just throws it back to the front of the net after he follows him, and then they just have the one guy that's tailing him basically, and Jared McCann just gets to pot that one pretty easily. Um, Burakovsky, and like I said, I think before with Burakovsky and Bjorkstrand, who I think are like the exact same player. They're both just like snipers. It's just one guy has 2 cups, the other one has nothing. Um, the second goal was just they lost the puck. The Hawks lost the puck. Like Jack Johnson behind the net feeds it to Seth Jones along the boards, but they weren't paying attention enough, and he didn't really corral it, and they just take it off the boards. And for whatever reason, Jack Johnson decides to follow the puck and leave the guy wide open in front of the net. And Burakovsky's a fucking sniper, dude, and he's not gonna miss wide open from 3 feet in front of the net. Um, but guess what? The Hawks take a penalty, and it's not a bad thing. Fucking, I don't get it. I said it before, but good for the Hawks. Jujar Kara, I think in the broadcast they were talking about Jason Dickinson and Lafferty being like so good on the penalty kill and like getting chances, and they had chances. Like
Yeah.
they got a chance right before this goal, and then on this one, Colin Blackwell and Kara like combined to just end up. I don't know if it was a rebound or if he just was able to feed him, but Kara had a wide open net, and it was just like, if it works, man. I don't care. Keep taking penalties. We're better on the penalty kill for some reason.
That's 3 consecutive games with a power shorthanded goal. And I think they were saying on the broadcast last night, and I missed this stat like time frame, but I think they're saying the last time that happened, it was Bickle, Versteeg, and Bolin
Oh,
were like the
really?
3 scores. Yeah.
It's hilarious. Um, I don't remember how Tyler Johnson ended up. Oh, it was like, okay, that's what always bothers me. Is like penalties that the other team takes within under 2 minutes left in the period is always good in a way, but always can be such a ball buster because if you're getting momentum and you're playing so hot, like on the power play, all of a sudden the fucking horn just goes off and you're like, oh, well, that's great. All of our momentum's gone. Like But it was just a Seth Jones shot that goes wide and finds Tyler Johnson's tape, and he's got a wide open net and just makes a nice little easy, hey, how you doing? Open net, 2-2 Hawks. Sounds good to me, Max Domi, I somehow just keeps playing great. I looked into it. His highest goal total was like 28. It's like first season in Montreal. And after that, like he has not sniffed like 20 in a season. And I'm kind of like, I don't know, maybe Domi might be hitting 20 this year.
I think so. Yeah.
If he's got 3 in 5 games so far. Yeah, he's parking himself in front of the net, and the Hawks are creating enough offense that they're just shooting for rebounds. That's the other thing I've noticed is like they're getting a lot more pucks through somehow, and they're getting these rebound chances, and they have the guys that are just trying to fight and going to get to those rebounds first. But not long after that, Cole Benier is just standing in front of the net, broke ass play. Stalock got turned around. The puck was in the corner, thrown to the front. He didn't want it to go off him, so he kind of like pulls back a bit, and it's lands on Benier's tape, who's standing literally right next to him in the crease, and he just puts it in like super easily. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
You like gave a little wink to him as he's putting the puck in the net.
Yeah, he could have. Is that like a D2 style or some shit like that? Vince Dunn, they find him right in top of the circles, and he had a fucking laser, just like top glove. And then that's when I had to go do some shit, and I was at the grocery store with the Hawks on the radio on my phone, and I was just listening as my wife was just like picking up groceries, and I was losing it because Tyler Johnson scored, and then Jason Dickinson scored 13 seconds later. I go, well, looks like we're gonna win another one. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
So the Hawks take Seattle down. They destroy the Kraken. Not destroy, but they beat the Kraken for 3 in a row, officially going streaking. Quick stats here, and I don't know how this works out. Face-off percentage: the Blackhawks finished with 70%, and the Kraken finished with 31%.
Oh yeah, because they took 101 face-offs, and that's it's just rounded weird. I don't know.
Short penalty kill was perfect, 4 for 4. Power play was 2 for 3. So it's again, special teams is really shining for them right now, and it's amazing to see after the last couple seasons of just no structure, everybody running around.
The penalty kill was always the killer. Yeah. Like the Hawks could be in a game, they take a penalty, and it's like the other team's going to score.
My favorite stat from this game: hits. Chicago 40, Seattle 8.
Yeah. One of the things that I don't know if you noticed too, but like Yanni Gourde wasn't playing. And I remember last season, he was just everywhere in everyone's face. So that was kind of.
Did DeBrincat fight?
Yeah. I think so. But like not having him there, I don't know. Their team just thinking about it right now, it doesn't seem like a large team.
It really don't. Yeah, no.
So yeah, the Hawks just banging bodies, man.
And then Tuesday night's game. This was the first one that I was kind of like, all right, we won 3 in a row. It's been great. The blowout's coming, and you know what? That's fine.
It's the last season's President's Trophy winning team.
It's just the recipe for disaster. And not even disaster. It's what you expect.
Bringing us back down to earth.
Yeah, bring us back down to who is going to do this for this team? Who is this? How are they going to play hockey with this team? Well, about almost 3 minutes into it, Taylor Radish with a fucking snipe and a half on the power play.
Not only a snipe and a half, but the whole play itself, just from our end, bringing it up, pass off to Tyler Johnson, where he just tips it over to Taylor Radish, and he has a wide open lane. It just goes short side high with like a half clapper. I was losing it.
And we traded Hagel for him. And we also got another player that I'm still not convinced is real, and 2 first-round picks. And was it a 3rd or 4th too, or something like that?
I think we gave a 4th.
Oh, okay. Kyle Davidson, you won. You win.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
It's sick.
Couple towards the end of the period. First off, what's huge about that too? That's the first time the Blackhawks have held a lead this year.
That's the first time they've scored first.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, misspoke. With about 30 seconds left, 23 seconds left actually in the first. Patty Kane finally gets the monkey off his back. He puts one in, and it was just a great setup. Him right off the bench, right to the slot, and just fucking buries it.
Athanasio just burning down the boards and then just trying to like wheel around the back of the net, and he pulls up. Everybody's skating towards him because they're trying to keep up, and he just turns back around, finds Kaner wide open, like low mid circle area, and he's got all day. And he's ringing a few posts in the earlier games, but he's not missing that bad boy.
Like it literally, there's opportunities where it's like he just could not buy a goal. Like it just like he just couldn't. When he needed to get the puck up, he couldn't get it up. Was it
against San Jose? I think he had wide open net and just like ran off the pipe, and I was just like devastated. This goal that you talked about earlier in the second period, though, geez, I think it was the Hawks were on the power play. And then Gustav Forsling ended up blocking a shot, and he went down, but like play still went on because they never corralled the puck. They killed the penalty, but Tkachuk was on the way out of the box. I don't know if he's heading toward the bench.
It was within seconds. Like it was quick, boom, boom.
But Kurashev just recognizing that Forsling's injured, so he just like, oh, I'm just gonna go right around you, no big deal. And then just goes backhand, forehand, and it just lifts it. And Bobrovsky looked so out of place. And I was holding my son, and he was like falling asleep, and I just was like, ooh. It's just like, please don't wake up. Like, this is so good. Oh my God.
Kurashev has looked great this year, and a lot of people were. I kind of said in one of my blogs for Hockey Buzz that Kurashev's gonna be one of those guys that I think. Don't be surprised if he gets top 6 minutes and it gets a look at in the top 6, and people are like, no, he's a bust. He's not worth
it. He's a fourth rounder.
Yeah, he is really stepping up. And if the Laffy Dick line wasn't clicking so much, I think he would have an opportunity to move up a little bit and fill in, which might happen now with Tyler Johnson, which we'll get into a second here. Yes. So Hawks go into the third, up 3-0, and that still I was like, okay, here it comes. Here Florida's getting really pissed. They're chirping at each other on the bench. The only thing Colby was good between in the bench was talking about how Florida's just yelling at each other and really pissed off at each other.
Well, mainly because their power play wasn't doing shit. And that's one of the issues that they had in the playoffs last year. I think they didn't score a power play goal the entire playoffs or something like that. And that's how they ended up getting swept by Tampa.
Well, I guess here, before we go to the third, let's talk about that. In the second period, the Hawks had 4 or 5 minor penalties. They played like 14 minutes of shorthanded hockey. And
they had 5, and one was a double minor.
Yeah.
And then they also didn't they have a second double minor though?
No, they had a 5-on-3.
That was a different. It was a 5-on-3.
Yeah.
So was it the game before that Seth Jones got a double minor? They had it. Yeah, because I remember hearing about one of those where Seth Jones was like thanking the penalty killers for like getting him out of that jam.
But it was like, and they were bad penalties. Like they were stupid. They were lazy. Like the trip, I think Tyler Johnson had a tripping penalty where it was just like, what are you doing? And I think Troy Murray said it. He goes, these are the kind of penalties you take when the team's got you on your heels and you have nothing else to do and you just need to stop them. He's like, these aren't smart penalties that the Hawks are taking at this time. So it's like it was self-inflicted, but the penalty kill did fantastic. They went 6 for 6 throughout the entire game. Florida only had 5 short power play shots on net in 6 power plays.
I'm sure a lot of those shots actually probably came in the third too on that one power play.
I think so too. I think it was only 2 through the second period. So it was
on the first 5.
Yeah, what they were doing, like it was insane. And so then you come into the third period, and majority of this period was in the Hawks zone. Stalock had to make some huge saves and play out of his mind, and he stepped up to it. And again, I think both of these goals, Florida Panthers goals, wasn't one I don't. Fuck, I already
They
forgot.
were both just like in close, like reboundish kind of goals. Um,
At two, I know for sure was one of those just like in front. He put it garbage goal.
Kachuk's was like a garbage one.
So now it's
Yeah,
3-2.
the Luosterainen goal was just a rebound that didn't get corralled and banged around in front, and then guys just wide open right there.
Yeah.
And I'm almost positive Kachuk was like the exact same in a way, where it was just like crashing the net and then just not able to corral it. But it just more of just the Hawks aren't getting beat on just open shots. Oh, it was a tipped. It was a tipped shot from the point. So that's one of the things that's I think is insane because typically through like this far in the season, like not all the goals against are just like tips. Like
Yeah.
they haven't got like the goalies for the most part. I think Stalock's gotten beat cleanly like 3 times, and Mrazek's gotten beaten cleanly like once. And every other goal is a tip, a deflection, or just like losing a fucking rebound. So the goaltending's been stellar throughout every game, pretty much.
Which was exact opposite of what we said when we saw that Mrazek and Stalock were our goalie tandem going into the season.
It's
Tays,
no unpredictable.
yeah, Tays put in his third of the season to icing on the cake. Hawks win 4-2.
Not only did that, he fucking was going balls to the wall, beat out the icing, and then just get a little wraparound. It's like if you're trying to get back in the game, how are you going to let somebody beat you to the icing?
Right. Yeah. I did.
Taves wanted it more, man.
Florida was a defeated team at that point.
Yeah.
So the Hawks win 4-2, go to 4-2 on the season. Four wins in a row.
Yeah.
Quick stats, real quick. Face-off percentage. Hawks won 58%. So again, they not dominate, but they win the face-off battle. Again, the special teams was fantastic. 6 for 6 on the penalty kill, 1 for 2 on the power play. It should have been 2 for 2, just seconds, I think, apart.
Oh, yeah.
Out hit again, 20. They out hit him again, 29-17, 20 blocks too. That is huge. It's especially, I think, a lot of that came in that third period when they're trying to hold the lead in the last 10 minutes or so after
it put their bodies on the line, man.
And they did a lot better with the giveaways. Got it down to 10 instead of the 20s the last 2 games.
I thought one of the funny things that I just remember during that game was at one point Radko Gudas had the puck and passed it out to somebody, and Kaner fucking rubbed him off into the boards. And they made a comment about it. Like Troy Murray was like, the Hawks are doing something different if Kaner's going after Radko Gudas after he releases the puck. And I was just like, yeah, Kaner's trying to get murdered.
Yeah, wasn't enough to get a hit register, but he probably did. He probably went up front to him. He's like, oh shit, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and just like
let him know he's there.
Him as he goes by. Like, did a fly just land on me? Like, what is going on?
What was that? Yeah, did Kaner finish that game with a goal and 2 assists or something?
Yeah, goal and
an assist.
Yeah, goal and an assist. Yeah, for 2 points.
Yeah.
So it was great to see Kaner getting back. So yeah,
I think Lafferty, he was on a point streak for 3 games, and then this is the first one to break it. But Dickinson, I think, has a point in every game so far that he's played.
So yeah, thank God we called that guy.
Yeah, what the fuck?
So good span of games there. Before we talk about look ahead of the schedule.
Oh, he actually didn't have a point against Detroit. He had 3 against San Jose. Whatever. That line is still just doing fantastic.
Yeah. So let's do some 3 stars for the last week of games. So from Detroit up until Florida. I'll give you one of my stars and you can decide if it's a first, second, or third. Okay.
Is it Tyler Johnson?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you it's a unit. The special team as a whole is 100%.
Oh, you're going shorthanded and power play
because they have been.
So that's literally everyone on the team.
But I'm just saying though, like just the fact that they have been able to buy into what Richardson is putting out there. I mean, I don't know where they rank right now, but going into yesterday's game, they were the 4th ranked power play in the league.
Yeah.
And it's like their penalty kill. It's just they're shooting themselves in the foot, taking bad penalties, but they are still.
Right now, they're 3rd in the league in power play percentage. And they're 12th in penalty kill. But I mean, is this gonna show? Can I pull up like shorties?
But
No,
they
they
have
don't
to be
even
leading the league.
in shorties. Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd think so, right? I don't know if this is gonna show it. I just it's so funny to me. Like, who would have thought that like our most deadly line is gonna be our fucking penalty killing lines?
Um,
It's I was just looking forward to like hopefully good hockey to watch, and this shit has been nothing but exciting.
right.
Every game has just been so fucking awesome. Just oof.
All right. So what star would you give the special teams
Uh, first,
first? All right. You all right? You name a star.
Tyler Johnson.
Johnson. I would say third star for sure.
Okay, okay. And
Uh,
what? Who's it gonna be two?
I this one's tough. I think you got to go with Stalak.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think he coming in and shutting the door down and getting the win against Detroit. And then coming out strong against Seattle. While it's statistically not his best game, but he still, like you said, made a lot of big stops. And then what he did against Florida, who was arguably a cup contender. And
Yeah,
you got to remember, he's only had one NHL start in 2 seasons due to illness. So coming back, like just getting thrown into it this quickly and performing, that's amazing to me.
so the Hawks are leading the league in shorthanded goals, and they're second in the league in penalty minutes taken per game. So they're giving themselves a lot of chances to score these goals. But
Has a team ever said, shit, we need momentum, go take a penalty?
right, like go get more aggressive. See if we can get something going. If you get a penalty, no worries. Like we're gonna be really good on a like that's so like how good now do you think is Colorado's power play if our penalty kill has performed this well since then?
I'm excited to see the next game against Colorado.
Yeah, because
I don't
if they match up like that's so tough. Colorado's just in such a different like
when do they
league right
how
now.
far advanced do they or like when do they play?
Colorado has 10 power play goals on 20 power play chances.
Well, here's the thing now that I'm taking that back. Where is it? They don't play Colorado again until January 12th.
Oh,
This is
so
gonna
we
be
don't know if we're still be riding
completely,
high.
yeah, this is gonna be, and if they are still riding this high going into January 12th, we're having a completely different conversation here. And it's kind of like, there, okay, let me ask you this. Do you want them to keep this up, or do you want them to be like, let's get back to reality and let's get this tank job going?
I mean, I personally would love to have Kane retire as a Blackhawk and never
Right.
play for another team, and this would be one of the ways to do it. Um, so I don't know.
It's
Like
like,
it's fun. It's fun to watch them just like kicking ass, and it reminds me of just like Vegas, like their first year. Like, oh yeah, that team's gonna do nothing. They're gonna be dog shit. They're gonna finish last, and then they go to the Cup final.
I
Like
think it makes
we
us.
need the prospects and picks, but also like if we went to the Cup final though.
I think it makes us more impressed, like what we're doing. Again, granted, this is 6 games into the season,
Oh yeah.
and Jess, we're playing hypothetical here. If they were to go on the same run as Vegas, did their first year, I think what the Hawks are doing is more impressive because the Hawks are doing with a bunch of guys, third and fourth liners who,
Yeah. Well, that's what
where
Vegas did.
Vegas had like second line guys, like they had guys that were
They
still
also had
good.
Fleury.
Right. Like it's a complete like Vegas was a better team than what this Chicago team is. So I think that you got to get the advantage to the Hawks in that situation. Again, hypothetical, it's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen,
I
but
don't either.
it's fun. Like we were talking, we're like, so the Hawks are buyers, huh? Like,
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a complete 180 from the start of the season last year. Like it's we're winning 4 games in the first 6 rather than 0 games in the first 11. Like
yeah,
It's fun to see.
I
I mean,
love
if the Hawks start losing now, like at least it's not going to look pathetic because like that's kind of what it turned into in the beginning of the
oh, it's
season.
gonna be
Like, after
pathetic.
after losing like 5 in a row, like it was they would give up a goal in the first 5 minutes and then the team would completely shut down and you're just like, why am I even watching this? Like
And
this
here's
is
the most frustrating thing about this, and I'm gonna touch on it again when we talk about some of the trades that just happened, is regardless of what the Hawks do now, the second they lose a game, it's gonna be classic Hawks L, all this kind of stuff like that. And it's like, do you realize what they're doing and how they're doing it with the team they're doing it with? It's like what I don't know. But all right, looking ahead real quick. So they play tonight when this is posted against Edmonton Oilers in Chicago.
dub.
People are like, oh, Connor McDavid's coming to town. Oh, no, 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 no.
That don't matter.
The Blackhawks own Connor McDavid.
That's right.
Connor McDavid in
He
14 games against the Blackhawks only has 3 goals, 12 assists, or 15 points. Leon Draisaitl is a little bit better.
yeah,
And
watch out for Leon.
if it goes to a 6-5 Blackhawks win and Leon puts up 5 points, I'll be happy because that's fantasy points for me. Anyway, I just Edmonton's not this big scary team that they were. I don't like the fact that they made it as far as they did last year surprised me. Like, I don't think that this team is as good as what people give them credit for. They're a good team, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that they are contenders, like cup contenders, serious cup contenders. They're playoff contenders. They are guys that can make a
It's
run, and it wouldn't be surprising, but I don't think that they're like, oh, you put them in the top of the top ranking.
I think what helps them is the fact that the Pacific is fairly weak. And then it's kind of like as soon as you make the playoffs, it's a best of 7. And if you're going to win a best of 7, you're going to want the best player in the entire world on your team. And that's where I mean, not only the best player in the entire world, but you also have like one of the other top 5 players pretty much. Like you're kind of giving yourself the best chances. It's just like they had to fall back on Mike Smith last year. So they just need to not be as bad as 5 teams in the Pacific Division.
Well, and here's what I'm going to argue with that. Like you said, like it helps them be in the Pacific. I think that hurts them because it kind of gives them imposter syndrome, because then it's like, oh, big guys, they put up big numbers in the Pacific, but then it's like, yeah, look who they're beating up on.
Yeah.
Like, it's like if you can't beat everybody else, like it doesn't matter what you do against your division, and especially when your division is dog shit as it is. I don't, like you said, I don't think this is a clear cut win for Edmonton. I think
No, I mean they've been struggling too. They're 3-3. The Hawks have a better record right now, which is funny. But I love it.
The harder the game of the next span, by the way, I think is coming up on Saturday when the Hawks visit Buffalo. The 4-2 Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah.
Your favorite top 10 team or top first 10 game team every year. You nail it.
Just wait till game 11 through 20 when they go like 1-9.
Or game 7 of whatever game is against the Hawks. The Hawks are going to turn around, and that's going to be another W for the Hawks. So that'll be 6 in a row.
Yeah. I think, well, no, that's going to be game 8 for the Hawks because Edmonton 7.
Right, but it'll be 6 in a row.
Oh, 6 in a row wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they come back to the United Center on Sunday. So for back-to-back, they got Minnesota, who I think we kind of said that they were going to struggle. I don't know if we said it was this year or next year was when they was going to start, but I mean,
They do have to rely on like a lot of guys on cheap deals and really hoping that works out. But so far this year, Marc-Andre Fleury's rocking like a 12,000 goals against average and a 2 save percentage and just not looking good.
have to rely on guys on cheap deals like the Hawks are, who are currently on a 4-game win streak. Minnesota.
Yeah.
Anytime the Hawks are doing better than Minnesota, regardless of the situation, it's like the mild. Like we always say it. It's like we don't see them as a rival. We don't really worry about them. But just for some reason, just the pure joy of doing better than Minnesota is just fantastic. I love it. And then the last game, before we record nights, and it's actually, oh no, there's a couple more games after that, but the New York Islanders come to town. They are currently, as a recording, 2-4. I know they're playing right now against the Rangers. But that's another one too. It's like you can make an argument this team can go 4-0 over the next 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, they could also just win every game from here on out and just go 80-2.
Which is more
But
realistic, but
I don't think it's gonna really happen. I'm sure, like, if anybody shows Connor McDavid like the stat that he can't score against Chicago, he's probably gonna get pissed off, and he's kind of just. I mean, we don't have like what do we have now? Like David Camp was like the guy. We'll see.
Keith shut him down, and Camp shut him down, and then it'll be interesting. And it's kind of funny looking ahead at games and like last year when they were playoff contenders, and we're like, okay, you need to win 2 out of the next 4. This is what you need to do. And it's like looking at the schedule ahead, and it's like, cool, you win 1 game, awesome. You win 4,
Yeah.
great. You win 0, it is what it is. There's like, I love this. I love this no expectation feeling of watching this team. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think in the post game yesterday against Florida, like somebody had asked Kane like if they're playing above expectations. He's like, I think we just kind of went into the season with like no expectations.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, he clearly knows that the team is expected to do like bad, but they're not going to go out there and be like, yeah, we're supposed to be bad and we're not. So sorry.
Got league. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are they're the definition of playing with house's money at this point. The house is money. So
like they're so relaxed. And I think Kyle Davidson did have a hand in this, but Luke Richardson has just been it just goes to show like I think he's a fantastic coach with what's been done already. Like
it's
crazy to me.
Yeah. It's impressive. We kind of talked about this during the game yesterday. Like, do you think he would have had the same effect on last year's roster? And it's like, I don't know. I think it's a perfect combination of the new coach coming in with his mindset versus a team that, there's no expectations. They're not expected to win. They're not expected to do anything. So it's like, hey, let's just buy in. Let's give this a shot and just see how it goes. I think that's like the perfect combination there.
Who would have thought that DeBrincat and Doc were the ones dragging us down?
Oh my god. Yeah, Breezy Cat is he is definitely having the effect of everybody saying like, oh, it was just Patrick Kane. And it's
so early in the season.
I know, but it's like maybe
he even had a slow start last year too.
There's smoke where there's smoke, there's fire, but we'll talk about that later. So some news around this team. So Mrazek officially went to the injured reserve list as well for his groin. So he will be out for a little bit. So especially with 3 games in 4 days coming up, it's gonna be kind of cool to see
Arvid. Yeah, Arvid's gonna get some time.
So
you probably play what? I don't know if he'll play against Edmonton, but you might play against.
He might play against.
He would play Sunday probably. I think they might just go Stalock because he gets a day off in between games, but then Sunday against Minnesota, you might see Arvidsson.
Yeah.
If he's ready, like he's done well in the A.
I mean, he's gonna have some time because like I said, this span of games of the Hawks are in right now, they're 9 games in 15 days. Like it's insane how many games that they have they've had played so far and still to play. On top of that, on yesterday's game against Florida, Tyler Johnson went awkwardly into the boards, and there's video. He left the game, didn't come back. Then there's video of him passing the belt off to Stalock, and he is limping hardcore. I don't see any update on his status, but after the game, Richardson said it didn't look good. So hopefully, God, fingers crossed, it's not as bad as they think, and he's able to get back out there because he has been a huge part of this team so far this year.
Yeah, on Cap Friendly, it just says he's got an injured foot without a unknown expected duration.
What's the name of the new play-by-play guy?
Fosters.
Chris
Fosters.
Yeah, he interviewed Tyler Johnson between the period. He said, "How good does it feel like to get to this start after last year? Having so many injury problems. Now you're healthy and you're ready to go and contribute and all this kind of stuff." And then literally the next
Gets
period,
hurt.
he gets hurt.
So if he is hurt, who do you think moves into that line? I mean, I would put like Kershev, but Kershev with Dickinson and Lafferty's just been stellar.
Do you bring up Reichel?
No, because I would do personally is from just even last game, I think Colin Blackwell was looking real fucking good.
Yeah.
I would put Blackwell in that spot and then just put Reese Johnson on that fourth line and just have that fourth line be such a fucking pain in the ass because Reese Johnson's 6'1" and Whistle's 6'3" and Kara's 6'4".
I
And that would just
also
a
think
big boy line.
I also think Boris is getting ready to come back, so
Oh yeah,
he'll probably draw into the lineup somewhere. And then also injury news too. Ian Mitchell had a brace on his wrist, and he's now skating without it. So hopefully that's a good sign. He'll be able to get back on the ice in Rockford. Be ready if the Hawks call him. But yeah, it's tough because it's like obviously you're not going to touch the Kaner line. You're not going to touch Laffy Dick line.
No.
Yeah, you're gonna probably need to go Blackwell.
I'm sure they might go Entwistle because he's been playing okay.
I was thinking about that too, but
Entwistle, I'm just going off of recency bias, and I think Blackwell is just looking pretty goddamn good.
But hasn't Entwistle been playing center, and he's been doing really good there? So I don't know if they would want to mess with that.
Yeah,
I think they played. Yeah, I think it might be Blackwell, and they'll either plug in Reese Johnson or possibly call up Buddy Robinson too to fill in.
I'm sure Reese Johnson would go in on that fourth line.
Yeah.
I think Blackwell is probably more comparable to like the way Tyler Johnson plays than like Entwistle would be. But we'll see. I mean, exciting shit happens, man. Watch them fucking do whatever they want, and then the line just plays well. I think I'm just trusting so hard Luke Richardson right now. Like whatever he says, like I'm sure it's gonna work.
It sucks for Taves because it's like he had never get consistency on his wing. Like since Hosa's been gone and Sada and Hosa, it's like every time he feels like he starts getting consistency with somebody, something happens and he loses that player. It's just poor Taser, man. Couple minor league trades happening for the Hawks. Kyle Davison cleaning house. Evan Barrett gets traded to the Philadelphia Flyers for Cooper Zach. He's a defenseman. That's all I really know about him.
A smaller guy too. He's literally like 5'9".
And then Nicholas Bowden traded to Montreal for Cameron Hillis, who is a forward who is playing in the ECHL when this trade happened, and he is actually being assigned to Rockford.
Yep.
So, I mean, I like what you said earlier. He's just clearing house of players that he doesn't see a fit in this organization.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I kind of look at it is like these guys were prospects we were looking forward to in the future and just kind of got passed up, haven't really developed well. And when you're looking at like the guys that we have in our minors, I think we've mentioned so many times before is like you want these young defensemen to get the ice time and like you would love for them to be the NHL, but like you want them to play and you want them to get more ice time. Having Bowden just like out of that lineup gives more ice time to those guys, which you're looking at Regulas down there. Vlasic was put down. So they're probably like top two. You got Phillips and Galvis. Huh?
Mitchell coming back.
Mitchell's coming back. Yeah. You got Phillips and Galvis. You got like all these guys you want to get ice time to. So like the guy you've been waiting to kind of develop into something and it's not really working out. The other thing I noticed was like it's kind of like a change of scenery trade. Like maybe something sparks for him. Maybe like something sparks for one of the guys that we got back too.
Yeah.
And that's the same. It goes the same way for Evan Barry. Like he had a stellar like college career. We thought he would maybe do something in the NHL, but he still hasn't made the jump. Just kind of taking ice time away from some guys that we probably want to have a little bit more of offensive like responsibilities in the AHL. So like might as well move them. See if we can get anybody or see these guys, like I said, see if maybe they have a spark here. Like who knows?
And that's the thing too. Like when they announced the Bowden trade, people are like, "Wow, the Hawks traded a first round pick for a third liner, a third rounder, and that's playing in the fucking UCHL. Whoa, what a trade!" But it's like, if you pay attention to what this organization is doing, he was never going to play for this team. There
Yeah.
are so many prospects in our system that have surpassed him. You're like I'm looking at the list: Korchinski, Vlasic, Del Mastro, Glavis, Regula, Phillips, Ruse, Nolan Allen. Like all those guys, I think they are more high on.
Yeah, fuck, man. I even forgot about none of those guys are even in the A with
Yeah,
him.
there's a
All the
lot of
guys in the
guys.
A have passed him up.
Yeah,
And then there's all the guys that are coming up that are going to pass him
it's
up.
like there's so many. This team is so deep in defensive prospects that it's like, you know what? Why waste this kid's time in our organization? Let's send him out to another team. Maybe they'll have an opportunity to play, crack the roster. Montreal, he might see time with Montreal. I mean, it's very realistic, but
yeah,
it's like calling this a stupid trade or like the Hawks, a classic Hawks L. It's like you have no idea what you're talking about. Like take just because the Hawks are in the news for something or whatever. Dude,
like the way that like people talk about it, like, oh, a former first rounder for like a guy in the ECHL. Why don't you look at the DeBrincat trade like that? It's like, oh, like he was a second round pick that you ended up getting a first, a second, and a third for. Like that's
yeah,
not. Yeah, well, like it's only what's going to fit the narrative. But speaking of those prospects, Korchinski, 12 points in 6 games in the W. Del Mastro, 11 points in 7 games in the OHL. Fucking Jackson Stauber made his debut in the AHL in a loss, but like 25 of 28 saves. Reichel's been lighting it up. He had 6 points in the first 4 games. It's just a lot of good shit.
Is Korchinski, you think, a lock for the roster next year?
No,
No,
absolutely not. And I wouldn't even rush him either.
right.
But that's one of those things where
Gonna make it tough.
does he benefit from playing in the WHL another season?
Yeah, he's gonna make it hard. I think if he doesn't make it, it's not gonna be an easy decision. I think he's going to really make this a rough call to send him back down. Kid's good. He's gonna be so fucking good.
Yeah, we'll see if he's a huge defensive liability. Otherwise, like he's gonna be pretty fucking good offensively.
Yeah.
Was there anything else for the Hawks that you
Nothing.
can think of?
No, not that I can think of. And there's even less for the NHL talk. Story wise. So we'll switch over that real quick and we'll wrap this up here. There's a new Iron Man in town.
That's right.
Look out, Robert Downey.
Uh-oh.
Phil Kessel's in the building.
He's got the body of a god.
I love like the meme where it's like, hey, you see this? This is peak male athleticism. Deal with it.
Yeah. The guy
Phil
that does
Kessel
the backflip
like,
out of the half pipe or whatever, out of the bowl.
Phil Kessel has played 990 consecutive NHL games.
Scores his 400th goal in that game too.
In the
which
game
is just
too.
Amazing. Just hey, let's hit a couple milestones in the same night.
I just love all the stories coming out too. Like, I forgot who was on Chiclets, and they're like he didn't like the taste of water, so he only drank Blue Powerade. He would drink Diet Coke in between periods. All this kind of stuff. Like, he's just an absolute fucking beauty. And
yeah,
and honestly, the best thing that happened for him was leaving Toronto.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He goes and wins 2 cups immediately.
Like, it's just he has been living life to its fullest since leaving Toronto. Yeah. And it's fantastic. I just Hockey Illuminati Frank posted like, oh, the different Kessel over the years streak, and just some of the pictures he posted. Oh my god, how do you not love that man? Fucking
I honestly like I don't know how you could hate him.
Almost like Speaking of Phil's former team, and
I was gonna say like we both kind of paused because we thought the other person was gonna say something. I was like, let's just go.
I'm trying to word this perfectly. Some footage came out Arizona Coyotes are opening their home schedule on Friday at Mullet Arena. They don't have fucking locker rooms built yet for the visiting team.
Cool.
So video came out of these cloth walls being put up
Hell yeah.
so that the visiting team has somewhere to get dressed, change, and all this kind of stuff. How the fuck do we let this happen in the goddamn National Hockey League?
I don't know, but
Like,
it's great. It's that National Hockey League and Beer League wrapped into one.
it's like we were talking about, like, how the Arizona Coyote players aren't happy with this, like this whole situation and all that. I didn't even think about the visiting players. Like, it's almost going to be like get dressed at the hotel and come to the rink kind of
Yeah,
thing. Like, get dressed at home and let's go kind
put the
of
skate
thing.
guards on.
Jesus. Like, it's an absolute joke. And I swear to God, I don't know. They better get an arena because I don't know how much longer they can keep this experiment going in Arizona.
I mean, I'm sure the new arena is going to be gorgeous. They need their prospects to work out because once if that team is good, it's going to be hard to beat. Like living in Arizona for some guys, like it's going to be the same as like living in Florida. I don't know what the state tax is in Arizona, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to be similar. It's going to be nice weather all the fucking time. It's going to play in the brand new ice rink. If the team's playing well, that's a bonus. But I don't know. It's a lot of ifs.
It's so rough looking at that. Like, it's just, come on, let's be for real here.
If you're playing in Canada for most of your career, maybe you want to go to Arizona so you're not bothered by everybody on the fucking street.
Oh, which I guess we could talk about that too, really quick.
Oh yeah, Vancouver.
Bucks. If you haven't
Well,
heard,
not only I was gonna talk about Vancouver anyway because they're a fucking mess, but yeah, what you're going into where players are getting hounded outside the rink.
yeah, was it JT Miller?
I think JT Miller. It was like a story popped up that he was with his
John Scott
family at.
it. Yeah.
He was with his family like at a pumpkin patch, and somebody was like, "Oh, it was cool to see him," but there was like fans, like Vancouver fans, that were there that were berating him when he was with his family. It's like, who would fucking want to play for any kind of Canadian team if that's the kind of reception you get when your team's playing poorly? I like that his quote came out about fans throwing their jerseys on the ice. He's like, if you want to fucking waste your money, like you're gonna waste your money to come to the game and then do that shit. That all right, like I got a job to do.
Oh my God, speaking of John Scott, I just looked at his Instagram. Congrats, Phil. Toughest guy almost fought.
Oh God.
I always forget about that. That's great.
Yep.
But yeah, Vancouver, it's like I could never imagine going up to a player in public, it's alone or with his family, and just talking shit to him.
Right. Like what is wrong in your head?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean,
It's
it's
like
frustrating as it is to
it's
watch that, but it's like at the same time, like, they're fucking people.
right.
Do a good
I
job.
mean, it's kind of like you're lucky he's with his family because if he wasn't, like, how do you say that to somebody, an NHL player outside the rink, and not expect to get like punched in the face? Like,
That's exactly. It's like you realize that this is a professional athlete. Like, he can kick your ass if he wanted to. Like,
have you ever
it
seen the
wouldn't even
video
be difficult.
ever seen the video of the guy bothering Mike Tyson on the airplane
Oh,
and he just gets his ass kicked? Yeah, just don't fuck with people.
what are you doing?
Sure, go to a game and boo them, like waste your money, but like outside the rink, like what are you doing with your life? What is? It's not really that important.
It's like going up to a waiter, go to a restaurant and it's a bad experience at the restaurant. Then you see the waiter out in public and then you go and you start chirping them.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Hey, figuring out the drinks here, bud?
Oh, I can see you remember the ice on that one, huh?
Oh, God.
God.
What a shit show Vancouver is.
Did you want to touch more on Vancouver?
No, they just fucking suck. I'm sure, like, I'm not sure, but they'll win eventually. Are they the last team without a dub?
Yeah.
When's it gonna come?
Look at their schedule.
5-2.
They
Yeah,
are
fucking yikes, dude.
their schedule.
Here's the thing, though, too.
It's probably gonna come tonight against Seattle.
They can win a few games and still be in it in the Pacific. Like,
Oh, they need just a good week and they're good.
yeah,
That's they can go from being like the worst team to potentially in the running for the division within 2 weeks.
What's going on with why has St. Louis played so few games? They've only played 4. Like some teams have played 8. Whatever. I at some point they're gonna have a handful of games in a short amount of time, and it's gonna bite them in the ass. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, all right. So, you got anything else, or you wanna call it?
I think that's good. I don't think there's anything really like NHL wise that matters.
All right. So, episode 197, Tanner. What do you want to call it?
Hawks, but with 3 W's.
Okay, I like Hawks. All right, so that's episode 197. Make sure to follow us on all social medias at WCB Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Like I said, episode 200. Now that we're 3 episodes away, if all goes to plan, it's gonna be a fucking banger of an episode. So if you're not subscribed already, make sure you do that so you don't miss out on it. 5-star reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Yeah, we will we'll see you on the next one.
All right, love you boys. Bye.
The Windy City Benders Podcast. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. And follow the boys on socials at WCB Podcast.